Hi winners, how are you? I'm so excited as we come together to differentiate between fiction and informational text. We've talked about this a little bit on the earlier video when we talked about choosing the perfect spot to read and why readers read, because there's a time to read fiction and there's a time to read informational text. Let's talk a little bit about that. If it's fiction, there are all types of fiction, fairy tales, adventure, and fiction usually has characters, setting. Fiction, when I was little, I always tried to remember fiction means false. Fiction means false because it starts with an F, so F meant false. So fiction means false. Informational text can only be truthful. It has to be about real people, real things. So we have a book here that I showed you before, Animals in Film, and it's informational text. It is informing you about the making of Warhorse, and it's informing you about the making of Free Willy and what happened after that movie and the Save the Whale movement that happened. It tells you then also about Babe and the dog that herded and taught Babe. Babe could herd cattle, and the movie and the truth about the facts about pigs. Listen to this job that pigs do. For centuries, certain kinds of pigs have been trained to hunt for truffles. Truffles are rare and expensive wild type of mushrooms. The pigs hunt for them using their snout. Pigs have an excellent sense of smell and can sniff out the truffles even though they are buried in the ground. But pigs often want to eat the truffles after they sniff them out. Dogs are now also trained to hunt truffles. My goodness. With all the slop that pigs like to eat, I would have hoped they didn't have a good use of smell, because some of the junk they eat to me smells awful, and they have a very strong sense of smell. I wish you were here to do this with me, but we can make this work. If I were to ask you, does this go in fiction or informational? You tell me. If it has a made-up story, is it fiction or informational? You can say nonfiction, and I'll know what you mean, but informational, they really want us to use that term more often. But if it is a made-up story, you're absolutely right. It goes in fiction. And I put it on the wrong side. If it's a made-up story, it goes in fiction. All right, what about this? It has facts. Is that informational or fiction? That's correct. It's informational. It has facts. All right? What about it has a setting? Has a setting. Yeah, think about it. Does the setting play an important part? Sometimes we can learn about places, but if it has a setting that's important to the story, it would go in where? I immediately think of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and the setting is in the forest. I think of beach stories that I read, and their setting is the beach. All right, where's the setting of Frozen? Where are the settings of some of the Disney stories? Think about that. So if it has a setting, it's probably fiction. You are absolutely right. What if it has pictures or captions or labels? What if it has pictures, captions, or labels? Maybe graphs. Where would that be? Would that be fiction or informational? You're absolutely right. Informational. Right there. Because that's how we learn the specifics, the truth of what we're reading. Okay? Pictures, labels, graphs. We call these text features, part of the text features, and we'll look at that next week when we study that deeper. For many of us, it's a review, and then in 4th grade, they add a few more. All right, what if it tells you how to do something? What if it's a science experiment? Or what if it's a recipe card? Is that informational or fictional? Absolutely right. Informational, right there. Tells you how to do something. Good job. Okay, what about this one? We'll give you one more, because I think you've got this down really well, the difference between fiction and informational. What about this one? Okay, I fit 2 more. What if it has a beginning? I can hear some of you already. A middle and an end. Chances are absolutely no chance to it. What is it? It's fiction. A beginning, a middle, and an end. Absolutely. And I can't leave this one off. What if the story you read has a theme or a moral, the moral of the story, or the lesson to the story? A theme, a moral, or a lesson. It goes under fiction. Think of the Fable book, Arnold Lobel's Fable book. Think about some old Indian legends. Oh, I can't wait to show you. I have a collection of rose rocks, and there's a beautiful Indian legend. Now, it can't be proven if it's true or not. It's the legend. It's fiction, right? It's a story. And there are some true stories, all right, but it's fiction. So it's a great legend about the Rose Rock and how the Indian maiden's tears went into the red dirt where her warrior had died, and it formed these beautiful rose rocks. So it's a great story. It made me think of when it talked about the horses becoming extinct to the Indians before the soldiers came and started killing when the explorers brought the horses back over. What if it has a specific genre to it, like a fairy tale or a mystery or a science fiction? What if it's a fairy tale, a mystery, or science fiction? There's a hint in there. Would it fall under informational, or would it fall under fiction? If it had a fairy tale, a mystery, or it was science fiction, because those are genres. It's like fiction and informational are the big umbrella, and these are the little pegs underneath. All right, so if it's a fairy tale, a mystery, like I said, the book I read on the airplane in 5th grade, or science fiction, there's your clue, there's your context clue. It goes under fiction right there. There are different types of informational text. There are how-tos. There are compare and contrast. If you were here, I'd let you brainstorm with me. There's also opinions, but they're opinions that are presented because based on facts and how they're interpreting, therefore their opinions are formed. Like when we talk about different technology advances, then we discuss. We learn the facts of the drones, and then we discuss. And then we discuss whether or not you'd want to purchase an electric car, a Tesla, or but it's still informational text because we're learning the specifics of it. So we have opinion or persuasive. Take those facts and then persuade your reader one way or another. Would that be fictional or informational? be able to log into your benchmark account and read the Red-tailed Angels. Now, what's interesting about this is that it is fiction based on history. So we call that historical fiction. So it's based on true historical facts, but it is fictional story. So have a great rest of the week. See if you can find around your house certain books that are fictional or nonfiction or informational. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. Look for books and see if you can classify them in fiction or informational. Talk to you soon.